good morning,
Good
Janet.
morning.
How was your drive over?
It was great. It
Good.
was so peaceful. It was really nice just having time to just think and not.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day outside too.
Yes, it was.
No school traffic?
Well, I didn't want to mention that, but yes.
Look at you trying to put everything
Trying
on
to
the
be
bright
all
side.
That's your
positive.
only
I like it.
downside to have to come over to see us is the morning time. If you can
Yes.
just wait a little
Just
while.
the school traffic. But, the school traffic will only be here and then we'll have some breaks.
Right,
Yeah.
So,
right.
yes.
Well, this morning we're starting. This is our first episode of our Century
Yes.
Bank podcast. So, how do we all
Excited.
feel about that?
I'm excited. I think this is
Excited.
going
I'm
to be
really
great.
excited. I
Yeah,
think I'm excited for the bank as
I
well.
think I
Yeah,
am
me
When
too.
too.
Stacy first told me about this, that is just awesome that we're going into something like that.
It's
I
new
love it.
territory for us.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
it is. It is.
Super exciting.
So, Janet, let's talk about you're from, of course, the Alabama division. And let's just tell everybody real quick what we all do.
She has a new role.
Yep.
I do.
So this year, mid-year, was it
This mid-year, July
June,
1st.
July. So tell
Yes.
everybody what you do, or what you did do, and now what you're doing.
Right. Okay. So I was a branch manager at our Sims office, and I was a branch manager at our Sims office, and then they came to me and asked me about this business development role. Just going out with the managers and calling on our business customers. We don't do that enough, and we feel like it's hard to get out of your office, and I know that
Very hard.
is
It's
as
very
well as
hard.
anyone. It's very hard to get out. It's almost like I felt like I was chained to my desk sometimes. But this helps them because I plan a day. They set appointments and we go visit our customers because that's important to us. It's important to
Keep
me.
those
It's important
relationships
to
and
me
make sure
too.
that if there's
Right.
needs throughout the year that they are not coming in to us because they're busy like we're busy. They're probably chained to
That's
their
right.
businesses as well. Yeah.
That-
Well, and we've been in customer service pretty much our whole banking life, but also it's become harder and harder for us to get out of the bank to see people just
It
with the
is.
ever-changing job that we have.
And staffing.
So staffing, yes, I think staffing is always going to be one of
Yes.
those things.
That just happened after COVID. That was never a thing before that. I think it just
I
like,
totally agree with you. I've been in banking 41
holy
years.
cow.
41 years.
Yes,
Wow.
in about a week. So
You were only 5 years old.
that's
huh?
right. I was just a baby, just
She
a baby.
started.
That's right.
So
early.
yeah, so I've done a lot of interviewing and hiring, and it was always we had more applicants, great applicants than
Right.
we could.
You were
hire.
turning away good help.
Yes,
Yeah.
and now I also do hiring and interviewing for Mobile County, and it's the opposite.
Yeah.
We're having a hard time.
Yeah. But I think that's across the board.
It
I
is.
think nationwide we're seeing that. And people
For
can
sure.
say that job rates are at an all time high or whatever they want to say.
Yes.
But in Mississippi, I disagree.
Well, I think it's probably a lot of it is industry. I think maybe depending on what people are looking to go in,
what field, yeah,
what
for
field.
sure.
Yeah,
I do talk to a lot of, being so much involved with the chamber, and a lot of the business owners say the same thing. And
I
these
do.
are industries all over. They
Yeah.
are
Different
all having
businesses.
the same problem. And I think you're right, Stacy. It seems like most of it stemmed from COVID. I don't
After
know-
that,
yeah, I don't know why, but
yeah, well, I just feel like it just put a damper on everything. And I feel like healthcare workers were able to demand like higher pay and all that too to be able to work under the conditions that they were in. And so I
Yeah.
feel like that all just kind of just created chaos across everything. And then, we had people that realized that staying home with their children was a priority instead of, them being in schools and things like that because they got used to
Well-
sitting home with them. And then they were like, wait, I kind of like this.
yes,
If we
because they
can-
had to.
yeah, well, and if we can live on a budget where it's just one worker in the household and the other person is a homemaker, and we kind of go back to that more simple time frame, and we can do that. I have tons of friends that
Right.
are homemakers and take care of their kids, and that job is almost harder than going to work every day and getting a mental health adult conversation like we have at work.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
yeah.
so Jill, your role, what are you currently doing for the bank?
So I'm currently the Mississippi Division senior lender. I'm the senior lending officer in the Mississippi Division. I've been doing that for 5 years.
I know all the events I'm
I think
scheduling.
5 years. I didn't get my dates together, but pretty sure 5 years.
Yeah. Well, we won't check HR to make sure you're telling the truth. I think you're close.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I've been in my role for just a little over that, and we've been scheduling events, and you're at everything
been
that we
that
have.
long for you?
Yeah, I've been here, I think almost 9 years, and then or
Wow.
9 years in May, and then in marketing probably 6 years, something like that.
I think so.
I think I was in accounting for maybe 3 before that.
I think so.
I
I'm
didn't even
pretty sure
remember the
that's right.
counting part.
Yeah.
It was
guess
so
she's
boring
here-
pushing those
Because
numbers.
I didn't deal with you then, but now with marketing,
She's
you know.
hit her niche with marketing. Yeah. She's
Yes.
getting us
and
out
I love
there.
it too.
Yeah.
So when we thought about this podcast, we thought like, okay, so what are we going to talk about for the very first one? I came up with healthy 2025 habits, healthy habits for the new year. And I think that that's really something that we need to kind of just make sure everybody has a different look of what the new year looks like or the resolution.
That's true.
Do you guys make resolutions?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
How
tell us.
many times do you actually achieve your goal?
Well, I don't make too many, so that way, hopefully, I can. You know, I'm very goal oriented, so I try to look at a goal that's attainable, but that is also healthy.
It's so funny that you say that because
Yes.
I looked it up just to
Uh-huh.
see how many Americans actually make goals. So they say 3 out of 10 make them. And most people do not achieve them because their goals are not attainable
That's
or they
right.
try to do it so quickly that they get discouraged. Like instead of like eating the elephant one chunk at a time
Yes.
or having someone who holds you accountable.
Right.
So those were some tips for goals.
Well, that's like with anything, even in banking, with goals, we're all, goal oriented. And I learned that a long time ago in banking that, if you set those goals to be attainable goals, then you're more likely to complete the task or
Yeah.
make it through the whole year.
Well, that's true.
And then being able to increase it.
But we do the same in banking, and maybe every industry, has that same.
Well, right. So back
Mindset.
to back to your position, like this new
Yes.
job that you're doing. Most of that is helping each officer obtain their goals
That's
of
right.
reaching new clients, seeing existing ones, keep pushing
Yes.
forward and setting goals and incentives too and priorities. That's
Right.
kind of what you're all about now is goal
It
orientation.
is. You're right. That's and helping everyone else achieve those goals, and
And encouraging them to do things that revolve around what I do, which is
That's
more
right.
community service events,
And-
and more.
have we had more community service
We
events in
have.
Mobile?
We have. I mean, I think it's great that people
Mhm.
because being a small community bank, I mean, that's what we do is we
Yes.
support the community. We do
Yeah.
things to
I do
build the
love it,
community,
too.
and we want every single employee, not just the front end people, but the back end people. We want everybody to feel that that's the priority. We've been doing that since 1903 and we're going to keep doing it. So,
Yay.
I feel like we have more people involved and it's because of that little encouragement because sometimes people don't really know how they can plug in.
I
But you're
agree.
giving them the
And
guidance
They
there.
don't. They need a direction
Mhm.
of where to go, and maybe just ask them.
Well, they do. And some people don't naturally, meet or greet or talk to people. They just need a
true.
little encouragement or a person that's with them that's more comfortable. And it just, really helps them to come out of their shell. We've seen that a lot with a couple of newer officers. You and I both have seen
Yes.
that going out with people. So I think this program's been really a great thing for us.
Yes.
So going into the new year, as far as resolutions, bank-wise, I think that's going to be a great one for us to just keep pushing forward in that program.
Yes.
To be sure that we're reaching our
And it is
existing
going
customers,
really
touching our
good.
new customers.
So
Yeah.
I did see like what types of resolutions. So really I think that health resolution is really the number one thing. People always are wanting to lose weight. People are wanting to be more healthy. People are wanting to eat better.
Join the gym.
Yes.
Yes.
Mental health is like a huge thing.
Yes.
In 2024, people are starting to realize like, okay, we've got to focus on mental health. Finances is the second thing. Like people want to get their finances in
agree.
order. They want to be better planners. That's a really big thing. So we're going to give some tips in a minute of how people can kind of look at things for their finances. Another thing that I saw is people had the resolution to travel more, spend more time with their family.
I like that
was
one.
that's kind of lower on the list. I know you love to travel, but
I do.
that's lower on the list. But prioritizing family, because how many times do we say, "Oh, we're going to get together and have lunch," or "I'm going to come over and visit, and we're going to, have a catch up day or have a girls' day," and then we just get so busy with life that we just really don't commit to those things.
And sometimes it is the little things like that, just making more time for your friends, or maybe you have always wanted to send birthday cards, or
Yes.
this next year I'm going to send birthday cards.
It impresses
or,
me. Yes, my mother-in-law is wonderful about thank you notes and doing things like that, and it always just melts my heart when somebody takes time to actually handwrite a card out. Like, those things are dying trades that people do not do. So it is important. And even with the bank, like, I love sending stuff out to our community partners, or if I have an employee who volunteered to do something, I love writing a little note and sending it. Yeah, I love doing that.
Stacey.
Well,
you don't write me any notes.
I was just thinking,
my notes?
You don't write me a note at all.
Well,
She
I'll
thinks
have
that
to
we're
surprise y'all.
excluded.
I'll have to wait till you forget that I said that, and then I'll send you one.
Okay.
So things to think about for if you were healthy, a health goal, if that's a resolution. I don't typically make resolutions, I'll be honest. But
I
if
really
healthy
don't either.
was, I would be able to use our new gym. Jill, we got a new gym.
We got a new gym here at the main office.
Yeah, I
I know.
may have to come over more often.
It's fabulous.
Well, you're going to be scheduled to come like
true.
like a couple of days a month. So you can just, we'll
bring your
make
gym
that bring your gym bag.
I could probably do that.
It's over in our new training facility. Have you been able to tour it yet? Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Okay.
It's fabulous.
Well, we're going to see it today.
That is, yes.
And it really is a great addition. I know it's open for everybody. Anybody that can get up here, anybody that's here from Mobile, they can
Really?
use it. Any employee.
Yeah.
But it's really been a great thing for us. It's
I like that. Well, I like that Century Bank is on board with
they are.
the health and keeping fit. And
We have health coaches that come for our insurance, and guide us. And they've even been able to make like plans for us, like workout plans. You can do
Really?
one-on-ones. They will weigh you, look at your body mass, all that stuff, and then create a plan.
that's awesome.
Well, I really think that the key for if anyone's resolution is to be healthy, my tip is to be accountable by doing it with a partner. If your spouse is saying like, "Hey, let's take a walk together every afternoon," or "We'll go to the gym as a partner," or even like a friend. Jill, is there somebody that you plan to go to the gym with here?
So we have several people partnered up here.
Like a buddy system.
A buddy system. And it really works well. And also, too, a couple of us will walk outside. I don't love to walk on the treadmill. So especially with this weather, we'll take a walk outside. I mean, we can walk through town, get a mile and a half in no time, and we're back.
I don't like the treadmill either, but the elliptical.
Yep, and we've
You
got
have
one
a
of
Peloton.
those. We have a Peloton bike.
Elliptical.
We're fancy.
So we've been I know, we've been real excited, and we're really thankful, to the bosses for
that is awesome.
for putting that in for us. That was a really great addition.
Yeah, that
that
was a
they did
good
for
thing.
us.
It
It was
great.
promises people make to themselves to stop or start something. That was
Oh,
the definition whenever I googled resolution. So
Stop smoking. How many people say they're going to stop eating sugar? They're going to stop
True.
shopping on Amazon
that's
as
right.
a habit.
That's right. That's
Stop
right.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shopping's not part of that.
I know. So that, like Stacey, I've never been big on resolutions either. So I can't say that I'm gonna be one of those resolution
why
makers.
don't you do this
but
year?
I always
Why
try
don't
to
you
start out.
Why don't you just do one this year?
Yeah. Well, I always try to start out the
Yeah.
new year thinking back on the year, all the things that happened and what kind of year it was, and what can we do going forward to make that better, make that easier, get out of here on time, spend more time at home, take another trip, those kind of things.
Well,
so I'm looking forward to that.
And I'll say another thing is like scheduling stuff, like your health being a priority. Here in the office, we had a worker that is very close to us that was diagnosed with breast cancer this year. So that isn't a
that's
thing
right.
that we need to, luckily she's doing wonderful. But the thing is like, make sure you're not passing up your screenings or your things that you need to do.
That's right.
That's
Yes,
a big
that
health
is
thing on your
important.
calendar.
It is.
Based on like your age or what your doctor recommends or your family history, we need to be
Right.
making sure that we're scheduling those things and keeping that as a priority.
I do all those things.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I know. I'm a
think-
very structured person. You wouldn't think it, I don't guess,
Well,
but I love
Because you're so fun.
Well, you're
That's so fun. That's
know,
right.
That's right.
But I love structure. I think structure is important to be successful in what you do as well.
I agree.
I think if you're, I don't know, if you're fun, but also have some structure, then that's actually what I strive for.
Well, they say that I looked this up too because I was thinking about like resolutions for financing and budgets, and I looked to see how many people use budget because I looked at the definition of a budget. That's like looking at what your income is versus your expenses,
Okay.
and then basically like setting a goal to what you're going to spend. But it says that 80% of Americans have to live off budget or do it either
wow.
willingly or because
That's
they
surprising.
need
I
to.
figured it would be lower, that people would just not
Willy-nilly.
budget. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know that every one of them are like on pen and paper
Yeah.
too. Some people just may know like, hey, I get paid this amount. These are my bills first and I have this much play money or this much, want to money at the end. But 80%. And we have things that can
Yeah.
help with those. Like our mobile banking, our online
Yes.
banking, they have financial tools. Lots of really good financial tools for like retirement. They have tools for budgets. They have bill pay. Do any of y'all use bill pay?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I don't
I do
use it
not.
myself. I don't use it myself, but
No.
like I have customers that use it and they say it's real great for them.
Well, I've used bill pay since it came out because I thought that's, easier. Back then there wasn't as much, online payments and things
Right.
like that. So it was really great. And it keeps up with, you can just anytime go back and see when you made your last payment, how much it was, when it was sent. I mean, it really does kind of keep it up for you. Keep
And there's
everything-
pros and cons
which
because
I
I feel
like.
like auto draft, someone could draft you accidentally twice. You could
Yeah.
also have it linked to a card and the card expire, and then you
That's
get a
true.
notice
We
saying
have
like,
that happen a lot with
hey,
customers.
you
That's
didn't
true.
pay, and they're like, oh, I paid, it's on auto draft, but it
Mhm.
was not attached to their account. It was attached to a card that expired.
That's right.
So there are
Still-
some
yeah.
downsides to
Yeah.
the auto draft
be.
versus the bill
Right.
pay. And then I think too, like I get really busy and I do a budget and I put down like all my bills each month, and as I pay them, I mark them off. But I feel like if I have it set up to bill pay, I know when I get paid and what's going to come out. It's just easy to have that. So if I did not have it already set up, how easy is it to come into Century Bank and have someone help do that? Like, do you guys help
Oh,
your
yes.
customers?
Yeah.
All our branches have
All our branches
have iPads, and they can go on that iPad and help anyone get that set up. Or if they get locked out, which that happens a lot,
yeah.
they can come into any branch too, and someone can help
Well,
them
we had
easily.
an old system, and I heard that the old bill pay just was not.
So
as
it was not
user-friendly.
user friendly at all, but we
No.
have swapped to a different platform. And so I don't personally use it. I have seen the demo, and of course, we have had feedback from our customers that it is so much more user friendly.
And
It's
before we
easier
had-
to navigate.
We had to have 2 passwords. You had
Yes.
to sign into online banking with one
And then have
password,
another.
and then you had to have another password.
password.
And you know how we are with passwords.
Yeah,
So
we have too many as it is.
We definitely have too many passwords.
Yes, with everything. So the new bill pay, you sign on to online banking. It's so sophisticated looking. I love it. You sign on to online banking, and then you go to bill pay. And if you've never set up on bill pay, all you have to do is enroll.
Yeah, so easy.
It's
and then,
really easy.
So here's another thing when we're talking about bill pay and talking about auto draft. So I have so many customers that tell me like, oh, I want to come open an account, but I've just got so many things that get drafted out of my other account, and
Yes.
it's such a hassle to move everything over. What do you guys? Is there something that y'all do to help
Yeah.
customers if that's the thing that they're
So
worried about?
a lot of times that is like the number one, drawback
is.
of them wanting to change, because the number one thing is it's inconvenient.
Right.
Nobody wants to be inconvenienced, right? So
We're all time
time-consuming.
it's time consuming.
Yeah.
So my answer to them is, well, let's initially get your account set up.
Right.
Let's get you
Me
set
too.
up, get in, let's get your paperwork done, make your initial deposit. We'll work with you. I mean, depending on how
slowly
many you
move
have,
things over.
change 2 a month, change 2 every other
And
week,
we
depending on what
have-
your pay scale is, that kind of
We
thing.
have forms too.
That's
that
right.
we can give them that has their account number, routing number, and all they have to do is give it to
Give
their
it to
employer
and it stops the
for
pay.
direct deposits, and then also forms that they can send over to.
So
one of
we
their,
call it, the girls, the CSR Excuse me.
New account welcome kit.
There's a new account welcome kit, but CSR, we have a new term for the customer service representative now. I'm still trying to
Universal
learn
banker.
to say it. Universal banker,
Yes.
CSR.
Yeah.
We're going to say both terms, and it
CSR
means the
is
same
gone.
person. That's right. But I do love that term because it's customer service representative, which is what they still are.
Right.
So they have
are.
there is account authorization form, and it's an account form that the customer asks us to fill out for them. We have it on file. It verifies their name, their account number, the bank's information, the routing number, all the things that you need to set up direct deposit or set up auto draft. That one letter can serve your purpose for multiple things.
Okay.
So it's not as hard or
As people
difficult.
think, it's just the thought of it.
It's just the thought of it.
It's the thought of it.
It is.
How
I talk to people all the
often-
time that say, "Oh, but I've got these drafts, and we can take care of that for you."
That's right.
It's,
How often is it that we think that something is just impossible to do because we've just never taken the time to do it the first time?
Oh, yes.
And then we say, like, it's
Absolutely.
not as bad as we
That's
thought
right.
it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not. Change is hard for everybody. It just
really
depends
is.
on who it is and what it is and what you're having to do.
Yes, it is.
But it's necessary, and 9 times out of 10, it ends up being
A
the
better
best.
for the
It's
best.
the-
Change
a
is
positive
good usually.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Absolutely,
you're moving
I
from
agree.
an account that has all of these like fees or all of these minimum deposits to maintain to one that doesn't require all that, like why wouldn't you do? It's your money. You shouldn't have to
know.
hold like a
Well,
certain
I think
dollar.
people get comfortable and
Yeah.
they don't pay attention only because they're
They don't
busy.
even know those little fees.
They're
are
just
coming out.
busy, and now you don't get statements, so maybe you're not looking at
At
your
online
account.
statements.
So,
Well, I think that's a lot of
think
it.
that's a
We've
lot of
moved
it.
so many people to online statements. They
Right.
don't get that paper statement in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
That was the mail you had to open. You had to physically open it and
I
look
do
at
not
it.
like opening.
Now you have to log in. You have to click your
do.
statement. You got to view it. So I think there's just pros and cons. It really depends on what you're used to, what you're
yeah.
comfortable
I do like
with.
online banking.
I do too.
I get really old school with some things like budgeting. I love the marking. I have all my expenses, mark them off. It's a feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah, I love it. Like Jill said, she likes writing things down, even note wise. Like I like to
I
write
do
it down
too.
and see it on paper.
Yeah, I like to
Yeah.
see it.
And I put it on a
however, I have
calendar.
moved into technology, and I love online banking. Though I really do. I would much rather go online than to look at the paper statement.
Oh yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I agree.
Well, and 7 or 8 years ago, it was a change for everybody. We had to get used to it so that we could encourage the customer to
Right.
get used to it.
Yeah.
And it's at the tip of your finger on that phone, that device that you can't go anywhere without,
true.
So it's just encouraging the customer to be educated on what we do offer them and what is helpful for them.
Speaking of phone, I feel like that would be a great resolution for anyone to try to cut out some of the unneeded screen time, because I feel like that's a problem that we see with kids these days. It's even a
Oh,
problem with
goodness,
adults.
yes.
Like I don't have TikTok or any of that, but
Yeah.
I feel like people are addicted to this stuff. Like
Yeah.
they
I think
just
you might be right.
Yeah.
Are you?
for
Is that
sure.
you, Jill?
I'm not on TikTok.
Do you have TikTok?
I'm on
No.
TikTok.
Okay. me
Okay.
neither. Do you have TikTok?
Okay.
Be honest. Jen.
Okay, I have it.
She's the fun. She's the fun one.
I have the app,
Yeah.
but I don't get on. I mean, I don't like hang out on it.
You're hesitating too much with this. I'm just.
Well, I know, right? No, my girlfriend's daughter. We were coming back from Nashville, and she was over on TikTok showing us all these things.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have TikTok, and she's like,
you've got
I mean, it was
to.
peer pressure.
It's peer pressure. It got you.
It is.
got
It
you.
is peer pressure.
So anyway, I did, and now it's kind of handy because every now and again you'll get something or you see something, and it directs you to TikTok.
Yes.
So if you already have it,
Yeah.
Well, and
I
what you
haven't
just
jumped on the bandwagon
said,
yet.
what you just said is peer pressure. So,
I know,
we have
right?
the young girls that work up front and they're trying to send me something. Jill, look at this, view it. Well, if you don't, I can't view everything because I don't have it on my
Right.
phone. They're like, why can't you get that on your phone? I was like, I just haven't done it yet.
Well,
So-
like another app. I'm real funny about just even downloading another app. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I have enough stuff to scroll through to get to all the things that I need for work.
you
and
can
for that.
search.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not searching apps. I ain't got time for that. I'm searching
you
for
have
my
to-
kids.
all
I don't
you
have time
gotta
to
do is
search
just
for
Well,
like-
okay.
and
So
it's-
speaking of apps, let's move from that back to budgeting. So
budgeting, okay.
I feel
Oh,
like
there
I feel
is
like
good
the
budgeting.
I like it.
first part, like into the New Year's resolution and apps and budgeting. How many people do you think do not keep up with the monthly, weekly subscriptions to their apps that are
Ooh.
coming out of their account?
Oh my gosh, that's
I don't
a
pay
big
for
one.
anything.
You don't have
Not
Amazon Prime?
no Netflix, no
No.
Amazon.
Oh, I thought you meant on my cell phone. like apps.
These are apps.
Okay,
Amazon is an
okay.
app.
I don't pay for it though.
You don't
You have Amazon Prime.
I don't have to have it though.
But do you pay for it?
You don't have to though.
You don't have to, but do you?
Okay, I do.
Okay. So that's what we're trying to say. So really, most people think I don't have any subscriptions or
Yeah.
I'm not spending money. No money's coming out of my account that I'm
Yes.
not like willingly handing someone
That's
each day.
right. That's what I'm talking
But
about.
when we think about it,
That's
how
true.
many? And so I
Okay.
tried to think of so
That's true. See, I'm like perfect example here.
Okay, so when I was
I have
thinking about
Netflix
that,
and Amazon. That's all.
what
I have.
other subscriptions
Okay.
can you think of, Jill?
so Netflix,
Uh-huh.
Amazon,
Disney Plus.
I don't do Disney.
No.
I don't have that.
Well, you
We don't have
little
small
kids.
children.
What about that? Do you subscribe to like the clothing, like the clothing
Stitch
app,
Fix,
Stitch Fix,
or Rent the Runway.
Fabletics,
Fabletics, the athletic, because
Runway.
surely you're going to work out if you
That
get
is-
new workout clothes.
No.
You don't
No?
subscribe to that?
Mm-mm.
We have a coworker that I promise you every time you say,
Really?
"Where'd you get
I
that
can
from?"
tell
It's so
you
cute.
who it is. I know
She's
exactly.
like, "Oh, I got that." Blah 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 blah. I was
okay.
like,
And
"How
then
many do
I
you
think
subscribe
one of
to?"
them is like, so one of them, they send you a box of clothes. They know they get your style, and someone shops for you personally, and then you get to try it on. And if you
Ooh.
don't like the clothes, like you can send it back to them and not pay for them, but you can keep
Yes.
them if you like them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds so good, but I'm
Which
like,
one
I
is
never
that?
pay
That's
full
Stitch Fix.
price. I think so.
Yes.
I
I'm
wouldn't.
not sure.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it before and I've heard the same.
yeah.
I just don't.
Okay. Well,
There's
let's-
there's grocery ones where you have to. So when my daughter, I have a 1-year-old, and when she started eating baby food, I was like, I'm gonna go online and get her some healthy like baby food that doesn't have sugar, preservatives, like no pesticide. Like I wanted organic, good baby food. I start looking at all this stuff. You can't even order it unless you have a subscription for the website. So you have to have like minimum orders. Then you have to put it on auto. So like, what if we get one type of the food and she doesn't like that flavor or doesn't like carrots? We're stuck with them auto billing us and sending us all this. And I'm like, why can't I just get healthy food without making a subscription for it? But the Thrive Market, that's another like healthy food
I was going
grocery.
to say, wrapping back around, we were talking about fitness and New Year's resolutions. What about the fitness apps? Do you subscribe
Or
to
people
any of
who go
those?
to the gym and get the like people who live in big cities, they have gym memberships and they pay a year's worth of it and they probably
Never
never
go.
step foot in the gym. But it was their resolution to get healthy and go. So they
Yeah.
signed up.
And then a lot
That's
of those
true,
people
though,
are in here
actually.
wanting to dispute that charge because they forgot they signed up for it.
Oh,
So there's, it's
yes. We
just
do
a
see lot
cycle of
that.
things
Yeah.
that you have to do.
Well,
Yeah.
there
Something like
are
that.
plenty of apps. I did not specifically like look up names of them, but there are apps that help people. You can put in your information, and there's probably some free ones. I don't know, but you can actually like put your information in, and it will tell you how many subscriptions that you are
Oh,
connected
really?
to. And then you can choose, and they even help you cancel them. Like they
that's-
go on. So if you say like, oh gosh, I haven't used this Thrive Market account or this, we got Netflix, but then we switched to Apple Plus, and now we're paying for this one. It will help you keep the subscriptions that you want and then disconnect the ones that you don't to save you money. Someone was telling me earlier that their dad saved like $200 a month because he had
What?
all these subscriptions he didn't know about.
I had a customer
Oh
a
my
couple months
gosh.
ago
Isn't that
tell me
crazy?
that. Yeah.
Oh my.
So
Okay.
you for sure are keeping up with what you're subscribed and
She
paying
says
for.
Amazon, but there might be more.
No Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that's
So,
is that coming
it's
out of your
like
husband's
$10.
account? Are you not paying for that?
So
You're
here's
making
the
your husband
thing.
pay for it?
I was going to ask this about resolutions and about finances.
Mhm.
Just questioning.
Okay.
Do you and your husband share bank accounts or do you
Oh.
not? Because some people say you
Okay.
can't have a healthy marriage unless you share your bank accounts. Me and my husband do not have, we have like some together, but we have
Right.
separate. So do you and your husband, you've been married longer than I have.
We have so we got married when we were older, like
I mean, you've been married.
well yeah, but when you're older and a little we're 21 years we've been married. So when you're established, I guess you already have an account. He's already got an account.
Right.
So he just added me on his and I added him on mine.
But
we still
But
use
manage
your own personal
separate.
accounts.
yes, because I have to have
Control.
full control of my account.
That's how Tyler is.
I
I think
And
that my
I'm
husband
sure
would be the same way.
I feel
Are
the
you
same
were
way.
you the same way? Okay. And he's very I shouldn't say pretty good. He's very good at managing his money as well.
My husband is too.
And so it just we started out doing it jointly.
You have to call and say, like, is it okay
And-
if I make this purchase? Or did
no,
you do that?
And he was, no, we didn't have to do that. It was more that he was just like swiping that card, swiping that card, swiping that card. I'm like, hold on. We got to
We
pay
need
for
an
this.
understanding.
So I said, okay, why don't we do this? Why don't you do your, and then that way because I was paying everything and he didn't even know what the bill was. So it worked for us and we're on each other's things.
Yeah.
We just pay.
You just operate separately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he pays the house.
But you're never going to say, like, this is your bill, my bill. Like, we just have responsibilities that are, these bills are my responsibility. These bills are yours. And then if it comes to the point where there's an unexpected bill that comes up, we just decide who's going to help or we do it together.
Exactly. That's exactly how we do it.
Okay.
And it works
how we
for
do.
us.
That's
it works
good.
for us, but I hear so many people say, like, if you're not putting it all in one pot, you got to have one pot. Like, even, I think Dave Ramsey is like, your marriage is not going to last if you don't do this. And I'm like, let's do it.
Oh, really?
After
Does
me.
Dave Ramsey say that?
I think he likes one
Oh.
pot.
I have no idea.
I do like to listen to him, but
But you might
but
rethink that now about
I
his
might
finances.
disagree about some things he says.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
okay.
I don't.
Takes all
He
different
used to
types.
have that. Is that what you're talking about? Like the Dave Ramsey budget plan? Is that
Yes,
what you're
he
talking about? So it's
does.
a one pot thing.
No, just in marriage. Like when he gives marriage advice, he
Probably
always says,
because-
and he says, like, if you marry someone who had debt before you, like their debt is now your debt. So, like, if I went to school for 8 years. I did not go to college that long, only went 4. But if I went for 8 years and I had $65,000 of loan debt, then I marry someone, well, they have to help me pay it back. That's his rule. Like, you took on that person's entire being history debt. So, I mean,
I guess that's just going to come down to, like what your personal position and belief is and how that goes
and
together.
how you
I
two
think.
come together to
That's
make
right.
those decisions. I think it's all about communicating. For me, I think communication is the best. And if you both communicate and you're good with,
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong way with joint or separate finances. I think it's really what your preference is, what works best for you as a unit, as a person. We're independent people, we're business people, we're banking people. So we would tend to lean to maybe the separate account just because of, like you said, the control and just being able to know
and
that
independent,
independence.
I mean, my husband was single until he was 41. So he just always did his own thing. So he was very independent. I was very independent. And so it worked for us, and we both came to that agreement. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about communicating, and it has worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
So we're paying off our house next month.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's a great way to start.
Yes,
a new year.
I'll tell you.
That deserves
When
a
we
party.
got married and bought our house, we done 30 year because that's what you do.
Yep.
And then
Did
a
the
couple of
same
years
thing.
into it, I'm like,
I refinanced.
oh my goodness, we're gonna have to refinance. We're gonna be 80 years old paying off our house. So we refinanced on a 15-year.
I did the same.
And here we are.
And I did
Next
it
month.
when the rates were so low.
Yes,
I got
and the
like
rate was a little bit lower,
crazy
too.
Low rate, like mine's in the 2s.
And that's
so I was
awesome.
like, and then what I do every month is I pay extra towards my principal, and so I'm hoping that I can actually pay it off a lot earlier than the 15 that I took, which has been a few years now. But my goal was when I took the 15 to have it paid in 10. So I'm hoping that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without that crazy interest rate after COVID happened.
And you're planning and budgeting.
I am.
That's right.
I love.
It's all about the planning and budgeting when you have financial goals to pay things off, or like you said, just pay extra on it to.
If you can, and I know
earlier.
everybody can't do that, but I mean, if you never see it, it's so much easier. Like, it's not, you're never going to come behind and say, oh, I got an extra $30 to put there. But if I just set them out, so when I did my auto draft, like I literally set it up for more.
Yes.
And I didn't do a huge amount. It was just like enough that I knew, okay, I'm not going to see this, or I cannot get my nails done, or whatever it is. And I'd rather have my house paid off than have.
Which brings me to something else.
Okay.
Now, I do love auto drafting. Like when you get paid, I do this I've done this for years.
Moving into your
Immediately,
savings.
I have auto draft from my Century Bank checking to my Century Bank savings. It goes over, and that way
Then you're not looking at
I don't even look at that in my budget.
Yeah.
And I do that.
And you're
do
saving,
that.
and
Twice
then
a month.
occasionally you just open your savings account. You're like, well, I've got more money.
Well,
in
you know,
here.
I've got
That's
that
great.
vacation account, so
So that was some
So
tips.
it's really her vacation account, not her true savings account.
yeah, I used to have separate accounts for all kinds of, everything I liked separately. I have grown into a joint vacation. So I just kind of know, okay, this is our joint savings and we're going to.
Because over time you realize
Yeah.
that was really your
It was
most
a
important
lot.
goal for savings was just to take a trip and make memories.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's a great idea, and
Mhm.
especially for younger people who, have higher bills. They have higher
Yes.
vehicle payments, higher house payments, just because
Right.
of the economy and how things are so much
I
more
mean,
expensive.
taking your family
but-
to Disney, and this is a thing that we really need to tell people.
It's
Just
expensive.
if it's crazy expensive.
Disney
I
is
mean,
not at the top of my list. I'm
Me
just gonna tell you
either.
right now.
yeah. Well, my son is begging to go, and we haven't
Oh.
committed to doing it.
And how old is he now?
He's 6.
Yeah, perfect.
And all of his friends have
Perfect age.
been, and we've never taken him.
Well, and he needs to go once.
Yeah.
But
he
I've
needs to go.
looked into the cost, and it's just so much that we
It
would
is
definitely need to start planning. And that's something I should tell people, So at the beginning of the year, so if you're looking to be more financial savvy as your resolution, at the beginning of the year, think about what the year is going to look like. Okay. So if you're taking a family vacation, go ahead, put it on the calendar, make sure your work knows that you're prioritizing that time for that. Make sure your family knows that, hey, we can't come to any events at this point or whatever. If you need to have your kids out of
Yeah,
school,
that's true.
coordinate with their teachers,
Right.
whatever is going on, and then start planning. Either get your trip planner or start saving that money well in advance. Don't think that you're going to take a family trip in July and start planning it in
Right.
June and
And
trying
if
to
you
scrounge the
start-
money together.
If you start the first of the year,
Yeah,
that's the thing is don't wait till July
Yeah.
to try to save something for September.
right.
Start in January because it is expensive.
The same thing
And-
with gifts. I feel like now the holidays, people go into debt looking for ways to pay for
I
all
have the
these
Christmas
gifts.
savings too.
Well,
Yeah,
and on the
Christmas.
flip, yeah. So let me just
Janet
say
is budget,
this:
budget,
she is
budget.
I
budget.
just love it.
And I love that we're talking about budget. But on the
Uh-huh.
flip side of banking for budgeting, if you do have a trip that comes up that you have the opportunity to go,
Yeah.
I mean, Janet, we make loans, personal loans every day for vacation expense.
So
you
people can come
you
in, and if
you can get a loan for
Yes.
vacation expense,
I wouldn't even think about doing
yeah.
that.
Oh, weddings.
Weddings.
Oh my gosh.
vacations.
Yes.
Those are tight.
the
those
boat
are,
that's a vacation every day that your wife finally
that's
lets
right.
you buy.
The boat that's the vacation.
Do you have a
every
boat?
day.
No,
And depending
I'm
on what
not-
kind of
we're
boat
not
you
there
get,
yet.
Yeah,
it is a
friends with
vacation
boats.
every
That's
day.
the best boat.
brother-in-law has a fishing boat, and
The best family
Yes,
member.
Yeah.
yes.
So I just want
Greg's
to get
the
that in there
captain.
too. I mean, we are a bank. We do want to help people learn how to save, but
Yes.
also if you need a loan, we want to make you a loan if you want to go.
Yeah,
So
well,
if you're-
the thing
if
is,
it's
you're gonna pass up an experience that you're not gonna get the opportunity to get back, and sometimes it is sad that money prevents people
That's
from
right.
doing things.
And we don't want Blaze to miss out on going to Disney World.
I'm not-
So
He has
I
to
will
go.
be glad to help him make that happen for Blaze. Just saying, Jill's
he
got
has
you,
to
Blaze.
go.
That's right.
Gosh,
Cute.
I don't know about any of that, but my husband would die if I took a credit card or something like that because you're paying all that.
Ooh, I would-
And
Well,
credit cards
I don't-
usually have
I
higher
would
interest
definitely
than a
suggest
loan.
You know, ours is really
applying
not that
for-
bad,
No,
though.
our
Did
credit
y'all-
card rates
I mean,
are not
have
bad
y'all
at all.
We
even
do.
looked at other credit cards?
Yes, they're in the
Yes.
20s, and ours is
29
14.8.
Ours is 14.88.
That's
set.
right.
Yeah, set
Set.
rate.
So-
yeah.
Is that right?
96. Okay.
Yeah. So some
So,
other
yeah.
things for January, make sure if you bought a new house this year, Kim's not here or Michelle to give us mortgage advice, but if they were here, they would say if you bought a new house last year, check to make sure that you filed homestead exemption. That is very important for
That's true.
taxes. If that's your primary home, so
Yeah.
things like that. Probably check your 401k at the beginning of the year and your retirement plan if you're anywhere close to that to make sure. So if you got a raise last year at work, you should make sure that you've increased. I mean, if it's
Well, if your
able
raise,
for
if your raise
you,
is 2%, 3%, at least 8% of your annual raise.
something
Sound good?
should be going into your
I
retirement.
like to
Did you say 8 or A%?
A.
8%.
1%. Yes.
1%.
Okay. Make
Sorry,
that clear.
I wanna be sure.
1%.
Like
I mean,
tripling what she's
Because
putting in there.
then, again, you don't miss it. You've
Right.
already budgeted
Right.
last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, your expenses haven't gone up that much.
Well,
Well, I don't know with groceries these days.
it
Well,
is.
this is true.
And it's also
And
going to
gas.
depend on, like what bracket you're in, income bracket. I think
Well,
that
and
has
your
a lot to do with
age.
people too, and your age.
I think
That's
you
right.
start really
That's
trying
true.
to save. So, like, if you are somewhere where your house does get paid off, but you're still working, well,
Mhm.
then you can put more into your retirement.
Oh yes.
Um,
Or
so
or just savings,
yes.
Yeah.
So my husband was kept, oh, this is gonna be life changing.
So here's the thing we talked about.
Well, no, it's not, because you're gonna have to save that money now.
Well, also too, so let's just talk about that. Like what bracket, income bracket, what retirement age bracket you're in. So like for you, Janet, you may not would increase that. It may go to the savings because you are the traveler. You do take multiple trips a year.
Yeah.
I still increase my 401k like every other year.
You would probably increase your 401k, but also, like you said, you're adamant to have that transfer to savings to the travel fund.
Yeah,
So you would
that's-
probably
yes.
maybe
That's true.
split yours.
So, but the beginning of the year is the time to think about your savings accounts. If you don't have a savings account, what are you doing with your life? You need a savings account for sure. Everybody needs one. I have 2 children. So, like, Quinn is 1. We need a savings account for Quinn. Blaze got his before he was a year old. And he has probably more money in his savings account than I do. But, it's just like your kids need savings accounts, college, cars. All these things are so expensive. Like, go ahead and start that if you don't have one.
I started with my daughter when she was like 1, not even 1 yet.
That's what I did for Blaze.
Because I was in banking, and
So
you
we
just do
have
that.
yeah.
And when it came time for us to get her first car,
did you have enough in there to pay for it?
well, almost.
Close?
Yeah.
Isn't that
See?
awesome? And so we
Yeah.
actually have what we call the seedling savings. That's for the
Okay.
children. So you can
What's,
come in.
do you know what the minimum is to open
The
it?
minimum to open that one is 25.
Oh,
for the
That's a regular
seedling.
checking.
Seedling
this
baby
is
25. Okay, that I'm not sure.
So
It's
it can
25.
even be birthday party money. So like my
Yes.
daughter just had her first birthday. She got
Yes.
some money in a card. I could
kids
literally
do that too. They come to the bank.
I need to stay on you about that. You need to get
Quinn
that.
needs her
Quinn
account
needs
open.
an
I
account.
know
She does.
Yeah.
but they come to the bank with
Draw
their
the
money,
paperwork
and
up.
they just feel so
Special.
grown, and
Well,
you know,
also too, it's a big thing for grandparents. We see that a lot
That's
here.
true.
The grandparents
Want
want
to open it.
want to open it, or they want to contribute to it, which is a great thing.
Yes.
I mean, if you're blessed to have grandparents that can and are willing to do that, then that's a great thing. So it's an option. If you have it there, the money goes there. You don't have to worry about carrying it in your purse. You don't have to worry about,
Right.
I'll
Piggy
put it over
bank
here and then I'll
overflowing.
figure it out later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her piggy bank needs to be here with us.
bank.
We'll get that started this
Well, we
week.
keep a piggy bank at home, so I let Blaze keep a certain
a
amount.
real
in
piggy
his.
bank.
Yeah,
Uh,
he does. She got a
oh,
piggy bank for Christmas last
that's
year from a family
cute.
member that has a Q on it, and Blaze will collect change. He puts a certain amount in his, and then he goes and puts some in Quinn's. Like he wants sister to be taken care of too.
That's great.
But I let him take money out when his piggy bank from the tooth fairy or whatever starts getting to where there is excess bills in there.
Mhm.
He gets a certain amount out, and I do let him come see Tammy at the front. Tammy makes a deposit for him in his little account, and he feels like he's just done something with his life. Like he feels special.
Yeah, he feels.
And then he keeps a little at home so that he can keep accumulating, and he knows that he's saving, because I feel like kids have to be able to see.
They got to see it.
Yeah,
I
so
agree. Me too.
it's easy.
I like to see it too.
It's easier for him.
Whether it's on the app in that total or whether
Right.
it's in your hand, you got to see it.
Yeah. So I think planning too, like, okay, so savings accounts, check your life insurance policies. I think that's good advice for anybody if you're a person that believes in life insurance policies. I feel like you guys being in banking see people unexpectedly pass away, and then their family has bills, and it's like, how are we going to pay for these things? Make sure that you're covered, that you have enough coverage. That's kind of something that you should probably check into.
That's true.
Well, we also have, an investment banker here. So I don't
Yes.
know how many people know that, Century Investment Services. And so there's a wide variety of options that
Charlie
he can
Brown.
offer. Charlie's
Charlie's my guy. I use him for my invest when I came over.
When you came over. And
I had
Charlie's great at that.
401ks.
He's real personable. He's real down to earth. And he is not trying to sell you something.
Right.
With all of my clients, the experience that I've had with them, sending him to them, he does try hard to know and to figure out what's in their
And he's
best interest.
conservative. I feel like he's never going to steer you in a direction.
I agree,
Yeah.
because when I came over, it took me a long time. I had 401ks from other, bank I was at that I brought over to him, but I left it where it was until I got to know Charlie better.
Right.
There you
Because I'm very
Well,
particular.
and you
As we should be, I know.
It's
But
your
he was
livelihood.
just, first of all, he's easy to talk to.
He is.
And first of all, I
So
could
smart.
tell that he was not doing what he wanted, just what he listened to me. And because I was very conservative about my risk tolerance.
That's right.
And so, anyway, now I just say, "Yep, whatever you think, Charlie, you're good."
Well,
Which
it's
is
good
awesome.
that you have
which is-
that trust.
Yes,
with
which is
somebody, because
great.
that's-
It is. And he
it's a hard
really,
thing.
It helps working in the same office with him too.
it does.
That
Yeah,
is
well, yeah,
nice.
you're at the same office
I
now. And
know.
he actually, when he started with the bank, he was working here at the main office with us, and that's how I got to know him.
Okay.
And so he really is. He's a great person, but he really is good at his job. So
He is.
I recommend him
I do
to
too.
anyone.
Yeah.
I've been now, I don't even know, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check
It took me
this.
probably 5 years to really move everything over,
Yeah.
but I
And also,
did.
too, we have to remind our people, our employees, our frontline people, our CSRs, universal bankers, tellers, lenders, that's an important reminder that they need to give the customer.
Right.
You know, the customer doesn't
That's right.
always think about that. It's not in the forefront of their mind a lot of times. And that's part of our job as their banker, you know, to,
That's true.
kind of give them a little reminder, a little nudge, hey, just think about it this way. Not to try to convince them
No.
or pressure them, but just to give them a little
Well, they may not
nudge to
know
think
that
about it.
we have a investment banker
And
here.
sometimes they're just intimidated to ask us a question.
Well, and sometimes when people hear the word investment, they think risk. And so they're like, oh, that's not something that I would be interested in,
Yeah.
So,
You don't have to be risky.
Yeah.
I'm
no, you don't. I mean, you can be as risky or
My-
as conservative
mine
as
is
you want to be.
very, now that I'm getting closer to that retirement,
Yeah.
I'm not as, I
You
don't,
don't want to lose a penny for sure.
No, I
Yeah.
really
But
don't.
no,
true.
we're not ready for you to dive straight into retirement yet, Janet.
No.
We're still wanting to keep you around for a little
Yes, and
while.
I want to stay around, but it's kind of fun talking about it.
Well, if you've been in the banking world for a long time, then, I mean, any person deserves to be able to, take retirement when it's time. We have
right.
Yeah, and just hope that you can
That's
when it's
right.
time.
We have Priscilla about to retire here.
Yes.
Priscilla
Yes.
has been with the bank 41 years, 43 years.
I thought she said 43. I think
Yeah,
she
so
said 43.
January, 43 years.
That's
And so
at one place.
at one place
At one
her whole
place.
life.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty
Mhm.
loyal. And we have a lot of long-term employees like that. I mean, Miss Margaret has been here over 50 years. So it
right.
is.
I just didn't know about Century Bank that long ago.
You didn't.
If you would have, we would
You
have
were in a
snagged you
different
somewhere.
market. You were in a different market then.
Yeah.
We
That's
had
true.
So
Y'all
what's
weren't
the
Mobile County yet.
Difference
Yeah.
for you coming from a big bank to a community bank? You see a big difference?
Yes, I do. It's just much more personal. We've had no problem just seeing her talk. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
It's just more personal, more family oriented, and the bank itself is so much more family oriented
Yeah.
because corporate America, that is
It's a number and it's just a signature.
I mean, and it
it's-
wasn't all that, but
Yeah.
you just didn't really have the time because you were always on.
pressed for a goal.
Yes.
pressed for
mhm.
I know we
Yeah.
talked earlier in the year whenever we kicked off this new program, and whenever you were kicking off
My
your new-
program.
yeah, and you were talking about how at the other big banks that you worked out, it was so goal oriented. You had to meet the goal to get the
Yes.
incentive, to stay there, to feel secure in your
Some,
job.
some people did feel that way.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm very goal oriented, so I mean, it was constant. But I mean, I did it. But it's nice to work for a bank.
Some people cave under
That-
pressure and some people thrive under pressure.
Well, that's true. That is true. I think it's just nice to work for a bank that's not making me feel like I have to be pushy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a pushy person. So I want to meet a business owner and hopefully they will like me enough to
Yeah.
where they'll come back, and that happens,
That's right.
Well, and sometimes I talk to people and there's a need and like we have a great communication, like great conversation. And then it's like a few months down the road, they call because they
Yes.
need me to help do something in the community. And then they may not open an account or come in for a loan for 2 or 3 years down the road. But it's like you've made that relationship
Mhm.
with them and you made an lasting impression to where they
Right.
know that they feel comfortable coming back
That's right.
later. And that happens all the time.
You
I
know,
mean,
recently I was on a call with the manager and we just said, we just want your personal business too. We want to take care of you,
Everything.
all of your business, because he's been such a great business customer. And he said, you know what? No one's ever asked me that before.
it's okay.
And I said,
Really?
well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, I'm going to do that. And we gave him, of course, information and
Mhm.
he was going to open. So sometimes people just don't they don't know what to do, or they're not asked, or they just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's
they
true.
want to feel like that you want them, like you've sought them out and you want to have their
Yes.
business. You want them to be there with you.
And that is why part of my role is relationship banking, because we want to be the relationship banker. We want to help you with all of your banking that you'll let us help you with.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't y'all think that is probably why we went into this new calling program to help managers get out, of course.
Right.
But also let businesses know we really do want their business and want to help them.
Well, when we say like familiar face local decision, we really mean that. You know, you're gonna actually get a local decision from someone who is in an office in a community. It's your neighbor really helping you here.
That's true.
When you're at a big bank, like
It's
they're
not
sending
out of
that information to
another
Birmingham or Jackson or like those companies are really just there's a headquarter and you have to like check these boxes and they don't know you. So it's really just
Yes.
like they never talk to you. And it's like if the paperwork doesn't look a certain way, then it's, and
Yeah,
it's nobody's
that's
going
right.
to go into their division manager's office or to their CEO's office and, have a conversation about a person that he probably already knows that person because he's here. Like he knows a lot of our customers. So it's just a little different. And I think that it's a good different.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So resolution. So do you have a resolution already for 2025?
well, I do.
Do you want to share it or no? It's okay.
Well, I think it's more just be more focused on the things that I really just, it's not anything major, but just small things like be more focused on family. I feel like when I said the birthday cards, the Christmas cards, things like that, that is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more focused on family and friends.
Okay. I think that's a great resolution.
That's good.
So for me, I really feel like I'm not a person that typically makes resolutions, but I do feel like constantly I have just felt this desire to just be more healthy with things because I feel like if we look at like 2024 and kind of what the health trends are, it's really that we're realizing a lot of things that we used to think were healthy are not healthy. And so I really want to try to use healthier products in my home, like for my kids.
Oh, okay.
Aluminum free deodorant, things like that. Food dye in my kids' food. Like I try really hard to look at labels and not give them a lot of food dye because I watched this show one time that talked about how long it took your stomach to process food dyes. Some of them like never process all the way and it
Really?
takes days. Yes. So like if they drink a juice that's red or a blue bug juice or something like that, like it can literally stay in their system for days and not process because it's not something natural that your body or your stomach can break down. So just like trying not to grocery shop and just put everything in the cart that we're used to putting in
Be in
there.
a
We're kind
hurry.
of looking, yeah. And I'm not like crunchy. Like I'm not gonna like not buy Oreos for him. I'm not that. They call it crunchy mom. Have you heard the term?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Have you heard that, Jill?
So just researching like vaccines and medications because I feel like a lot of times people say like, oh, I'm having this problem or whatever, and they just go to the doctor, they get put on medicine. They never even try like a holistic approach or something natural. But really like that is our...
I think the biggest part of that is you just, like you said, you've been looking at it. You got to educate yourself on what's important.
Yeah, a
and what
doctor
works
can't
for
tell you everything that works for your body.
Yeah.
I
mean,
And there's a side effect to every medicine. I mean,
There is.
That's
There is.
true.
Whether it's good for you or not. I mean, and some people, so many people have to take medicines, but you just have to be educated and know what's going on with your body.
Yeah.
I'm
All right,
not big
Jill.
on.
Come on.
I'm not big on
You're not a
resolutions.
medicine person either, though.
I don't take a lot of medicine, which is a blessing. I'm glad I don't have to. I'm just really, I feel like every day, not really New Year's resolution, trying to work on my time management. I feel like sometimes that really gets away from me, managing my own time.
Like, are you talking about
you
your personal time or
personal and professional?
Okay.
You have the more responsibilities you have, the more demands that you
Yes.
have from
Yeah.
other people on your time and what they need from you and what you need to give to them. So I'm really trying to work on
So
that.
do you struggle with saying no? Because I feel like that's a big thing. Like people want to be a yes person and say yes to everything. And like, it's literally impossible
It
to say
is.
yes to
I think
everything.
I think the answer to that question would depend on who you ask if I struggle to say no.
Okay.
So I do want to be the yes person. I do always want to help somebody.
I know, me too.
But
She's gonna tell a coworker no before she tells a customer for sure.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
now I don't tell the coworkers no too often. And I don't want to. I'm just saying that, time management, being aware of where you need to be and when you need to be and which place is the most important.
So how do you manage your time? Like, what do? You keep everything on your phone, or do you have a day planner type?
I don't. You talking about writing it down?
Yeah.
No, I don't do that anymore.
Why don't you write
Do you
it
have your
down?
phone
though?
calendar
I
and
do
your work
use
calendar?
the
We have a
phone
million
calendar. We have
calendars.
the phone calendar, the work calendar. Like my phone calendar is personal, business,
Okay.
that kind of thing. But I'm not saying that I have any type of plan. I'm just saying that,
Okay.
that I want it to be.
Well, I just know
I
that
wanna try
if I
harder.
write it down and look at
Yeah.
it,
Well,
And
even
a month,
We'll
just
have to
can
come back.
see.
We may have to come back to that on the next
so
episode.
even like at the beginning of the year, I realized at the end of the year that I hadn't used any vacation time hardly.
What?
And I mean, yeah, I realized that literally at the very end of the year. I was like, I have way too many days of
Why?
vacation. Well, I had a baby, last year. And so my kids are small. It's really hard to take an infant on a vacation, period.
That's true. Yeah.
And then working with my husband's schedule, like we have so many things that are important. Like he does farming and helps with farming. So like when it's watermelon season, nobody takes vacation because watermelons are priority. Or when it's tree farm time, it's tree farm time. And when it's pumpkin season, it's pumpkin season. So like we work around this schedule, and that doesn't always fit in with like my kids' school schedule and
That's
all
right.
that. And then I also have had so much stuff with work. We've had a crazy busy year with Century Bank, and the community's been booming everywhere. Like all of
Yeah.
our
Right.
areas that we serve. So Baldwin County, Mobile County, and here, like that business expo that we did this year, that's something different that wasn't on my calendar last year.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But when that happens, you kind of lose track.
It's just that you have to
Yeah.
prioritize, which way, in
Well,
which direction you have to go.
Which is another reason I'm so thankful for this new role that I've been able to help Mobile County. I feel like Mississippi gets out so much.
Mm-hmm.
And
But it's not because, like, when Jill's saying she's working late to make up the time, that she took that, hour to go to a ribbon cut, and then she might be at her desk past 5:00 making up to finish that loan application or whatever it is. But that's like the time management. But if we share the load of doing that, so if it's not the one person go into everything and everybody's doing it like you're encouraging people to do, it makes the load lighter, and everybody can kind of, be in the office enough and then be
Right.
out of the office.
like we went to a Sims Chamber Christmas banquet last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You've had a busy week.
Well, that's great. Well, and just like with this, starting the new podcast, like we've all three had to prioritize a time to make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be something we have to wrap back around to. We may dive into that a little bit more next episode.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. There's plenty of stuff probably that we can talk about. And
I think we've got plenty of things to talk about.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. Well, and so next time we'll just check in on what
Okay.
we talked about this time. We may possibly have a special guest. I'm working on that for next time.
I'm
So
excited.
I'll be excited to know that all works out. I think everybody
Okay.
else will be excited about that too. So
Yes.
And I want to eventually ask topics from customers and from our
Oh.
feed. So like once these start going,
What would I like to
possibly
hear about?
yeah, maybe
Mhm.
we can put
That's a
some
great
stuff out
idea.
there and let people vote on a topic, or even get suggestions from people to kind of see what they want to hear about. Because
I
mean,
like that.
banking doesn't have to be boring, and we want people to know that.
No, it's not
Yeah.
stuffy bankers
I
anymore.
I feel like it's anything but boring, but that's just our
Yeah.
everyday life. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks
Right.
for taking the
I
time to come
know,
over
Janet.
today.
We're so glad you came over today. You're
Well,
gonna stay
I
with us the rest of the day. We've got some
So
more things to work
enjoyed
on.
it.
Yeah.
Good.
Enjoyed it. Thank y'all for inviting me.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Hey, you guys. Thanks for watching our Century Bank podcast. Be sure you like and subscribe to get all our upcoming episodes.